The natural gas market's bearish sentiment, which put a lid on prices in 2019, has extended into this winter. The exceptionally mild winter in North America, combined with other bearish fundamentals, had driven prices to nearly 4-year lows and some of the lowest levels that we've seen during the past 2 decades. Soaring storage levels have also contributed to the collapse in natural gas prices. Storage is always seasonal, but compared to the 5 previous years, natural gas storage levels in the United States are now towards the upper end of their range. Beyond the weather and the subsequent rise in storage levels, there is one other reason for the depressed state of natural gas prices, and that's soaring U.S. production. Shale production in the United States has rocketed by over 800% since the EIA began tracking it in 2008. And its rise has been more than adequate to replace the decline in traditional sources of production. Low natural gas prices have been great news for consumers, both in the United States and internationally. In the United States, there has been a steady increase in the use of natural gas for electrical power generation as well as industrial uses. Meanwhile, U.S. exports of natural gas rose by 37% last year from the previous year. And perhaps even more importantly going forward, U.S. LNG export capacity will nearly double in 2020 versus where it was 1 year ago. Already, the impact of U.S. natural gas exports is becoming apparent in global prices. Unlike oil, natural gas prices vary significantly by region. From 2010 to 2015, the Asian price of natural gas was typically 350% above the U.S. price, while the European price typically averaged around 125% higher. Since natural gas was historically benchmarked to crude in those regions, those gaps narrowed somewhat when oil prices crashed in late 2014. Since then, however, rising U.S. exports, especially since 2017, have narrowed this gap further. This is especially noticeable during the past 12 months, in which Japanese and German natural gas prices followed U.S. prices lower, ignoring a rebound in crude oil prices. With the U.S. becoming an increasingly prominent exporter of LNG, much of the rest of the world is beginning to look at Henry Hub, the official delivery location of NYMEX natural gas futures contracts, rather than oil benchmarks as a pricing source for natural gas. A further rise in U.S. LNG exports could shrink the natural gas price spreads that we see around the world even further. While the low prices have been great news for U.S. consumers and consumers internationally, they have been taking their toll on the shale producers that drove the boom in the first place. And that's the subject of a separate video. I'm Eric Norland, Senior Economist at the CME Group in London.